Hey everyone, my name is Sophie from Sophisticated Organization. Welcome back to another Sophisticated Saturday where together we work through my to-do list and get things done around the house. Today was a very busy day, so I didn't have a ton of time to film, but I still needed to get stuff done and I want to share with you exactly what I did today. And though it was a busy day, we're still going to fit in a little bit of baking, fall-themed baking. I'm going to be baking the softest pumpkin cookies, so stay tuned for that. But first, I picked up a quick grocery order and need to get that all put away in the refrigerator into my organizing bins. This process is so easy since I've added these organizing bins and since we got this new refrigerator. It is seamless to get stuff put away, and I love how big and deep the refrigerator is because there always seems like there's space.
Close to my bed now and waiting for the screen to light up. Hey, I'm here for you. Are you reading every message I send to you? Love is overdue, but you know that I could never give up on you.
I've really been into pineapple recently, so I picked up a pineapple and I'm going to get that chopped up and out of the way. I do like to prep my fruits and veggies as much as possible. It does depend on the fruit and veggie though, because sometimes if you wash your fruits or cut them too far in advance, then they'll spoil faster. But right now we didn't have a lot of fresh fruit, so I was going to cut that pineapple up, and it's one less thing for me to worry about. This cookie recipe does take a little bit of time because it needs to sit in the refrigerator for, I believe it was 3 or so hours. So I want to get started first on making the dough with my softened butter and my sugar and get that creaming. And I want to tell you a little story of why I'm making these cookies. If you are interested in the recipe, I will link it in the description box below. A friend sent it to me and told me they were the softest pumpkin cookies, and they really are. But the reason I'm making these cookies and making it a priority today is because the other day I was taking Owen for a walk and was talking with one of my friends, and so I had an AirPod in, just one AirPod in, and was pushing him in his little cozy coupe car, and he was running around, and I finished up the phone call, so I was just playing with Owen and kept my AirPod in. I never seem to have pockets. I wear leggings a lot, especially when pregnant, so I didn't have a place to put my AirPod, so I kept it in my ear, and Owen was running around down the neighborhood street, which is very, very quiet, but a car was coming, so I of course picked him up and moved the cozy coupe car out of the street. And as I picked him up, he kind of just like batted his hand by my head and by my ear, and the AirPod fell out of my ear straight onto the street and then down into one of those little like sewer things on the side of the street and just perfectly bounced. I felt like it was happening in slow motion and just went straight down there. And I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, what are the odds of that happening? And I could see down there, it seemed like it wasn't really that deep. There was kind of like a shelf there. So finally, once Jim got home, I decided that I was going to go back down there and try and grab it and maybe fashion some sort of a device. His brother mentioned that AirPods are magnetic, which was a really good thought. So I grabbed one of those baby locks that we have to open up our kitchen cabinets and attached it to a hanger and went back down the street in front of one of our neighbors' houses that I actually know. And he was out there mowing, and I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. I have this baby lock on a hanger and I'm about to go down and bend down and try and fish around under there. And he immediately saw me with the hanger down there and said, oh no, what did you lose? What are you doing? And I told him that my AirPod fell out right in front of his house down the little grate. And he stopped what he was doing, was like, let me help you. He got on his stomach and started reaching down there, which who knows what the heck is down there. And I was able to tell him what side I thought it fell on and that I thought it didn't go very far, and insisted he did not need to help me. But within less than a minute, he found it. He grabbed my AirPod, and I was so beyond relieved because I don't even know what it cost to buy one new AirPod, but that was an expensive drop. So I was so grateful for him making the effort, getting on his stomach, sticking his hand down in that gross sewer, and obviously, of course, finding my AirPod in the end. So I wanted to bake him and his family some cookies just to say thank you, which he also has a son that's about Owen's age, and he just texted me while I was recording the voiceover of this video and said that his son approved of the cookies and that they really enjoyed them. And I think it's just like a really simple thing to do for people that isn't necessary at all, but also it wasn't necessary for him to help me and help me to that extent. So it's just nice to be obviously friendly to your neighbors. I love to bake, and so it all worked out. While the cookies are chilling in the refrigerator, I'm going to pick up this mess of a living room. Surprisingly, this is not as bad as it gets. It's just a little messy right now in terms of toys everywhere. So I'm going to collect all of Owen's cars. That's one of his favorite things to pull out. Jim had a sweatshirt down here. Owen had some artwork that he brought home from school, and just do a quick pickup. I was also doing laundry today. Today I was washing our rags, which is what I usually do on Saturdays. And then I also did an extra load of towels. That's typically on Wednesdays, but today I was doing it on Saturday. And after I got those towels moved over from the washer to the dryer, I'm going to fold the rags bin. And the rags bin is kind of a loose concept. It is our pool towels. It is actual cleaning rags. It's also a lot of times Jim puts his dirty socks from working out in the yard in the bin, because we keep the bin in our mudroom, which is accessible from our kitchen. So I can easily put dirty rags that I've been using in the kitchen into that bin and then bring them up. I also have another bin here in the laundry room under the sink, and combine all of that stuff and use a little bit more of a heavy cycle, and I use a more intense detergent. I don't use my natural detergent for this load. I use just regular Tide typically, and give it all a deep clean. So it's a little miscellaneous in the folding department. Some of these random microfiber cloths that are different colors are for cleaning the car or things in the garage that Jim usually uses. And then the gray ones are our kitchen dish towels, and the blue ones are the microfiber cloths I sell on my website, and those are what I use to clean all around the house. Another thing I wanted to do today was to go through my dresser and not necessarily do any decluttering or anything, but I had gotten a little bit lazy about the way I was putting away my laundry. So some things needed to be refolded and rearranged. This was just going to be a really quick little project there. But you'll see I have my iPad with me, which I don't always show that I'm watching things on my iPad. And you can tell I'm not really watching, but just listening in the background. So I'm not doing these home tasks in silence. It's kind of like listening to a podcast for me in a sense, but I was just making sure all of the drawers were arranged properly. And I think a big reason that this has been out of hand recently is also because of being pregnant. There's just extra things in my dresser that I don't usually have, like maternity tops and stuff. I just pulled out one top and one pair of pants that I bought really early in pregnancy, and I just don't think I need them. And I bought them from Target, which has a really long return period. So I'm going to try and bring those back and see if they are still within the return window, because I don't think I need them. And I am also going to go through and rearrange some of my swimsuits. I had pulled a bunch of these out before our baby moon to see if I felt comfortable wearing a two-piece while pregnant. I did not, and ended up getting a few more maternity swimsuits, so that added more to my swimsuit collection, and just going through and, like I said, cleaning up each drawer.
My dear friend,
those cookies had finished chilling, so the next step is to roll them into balls. I'm using a cookie scoop here to get them all to be a somewhat uniform size, rolling them in my hands, and then you are going to roll them into powdered sugar before you add them to the oven. And you'll see Owen just walked in, as well as Jim. Jim is all about trying anything I'm baking and making. He always grabs some dough, so good thing I made a large batch of this so there was plenty for him to try, and I let Owen see what I was doing. You can also probably tell that it's a little bit later, it's darker. I took a break after I finished with my dresser, and Owen got up from his nap. We spent time as a family, and this was getting close to bedtime, so I wanted to get these in the oven, and then we were going to work on getting Owen to bed, and that would give them some time to cool and give me time to pack them up as well, at least part of them, for our neighbor that saved my AirPod.
We thought we'd be forever young, but now I know we can't keep floating, we have to fall. This is the beat of broken hearts, is it all lost? We can't go on again, 'cause you seem like you want it bad.
I got the cookies out of the oven, put the next batch of cookies in there, and something I decided to do because of Jim, actually, he saw what I was making and disappointingly said, "So there isn't any chocolate in there?" And I was thinking about putting chocolate chips in the cookies, but I didn't want to screw up the recipe. And so my idea was to make a little bit of a chocolate drizzle, and maybe that would kind of hit his sweet tooth for chocolate there. I tested it out by making a little chocolate drizzle with melted chocolate chips and a tiny bit of coconut oil, and just used my spoon there to test what it would be like with a drizzle of chocolate on top, not really worrying about how it looked. It was delicious that way. So I loaded up a bottle with the rest of the chocolate and drizzled it in a much neater fashion for our neighbor. Let that dry, and I am packing it up into some of these small foil containers and writing him a note on the top, and I'm just gonna leave it on his doorstep. I basically just said, "Thank you so much for helping me find my AirPod." And like I said, it was a hit with his family, and we also got to keep some extras for ourselves.
You seem like you want it bad. My head is spinning off the edge, and I'm giving in way too fast, way too
That is basically it for today's Sophisticated Saturday. It is late at night. Owen is now in bed, so I am going to get a bath going and just relax. It's a shorter Sophisticated Saturday, but still I got some stuff done and was able to enjoy myself with some baking. But until next time, I will see you all later.